Hey there, YouTube, it's Petey Two Finger. This is a recommend video on a band called The Mummies. Mummies are the kings of budget rock, party at Steve's Mummies. This is not Here Come the Mummies, okay? So I will explain, and this video is just like infinite frustration for Petey because the Mummies are a phenomenal garage rock band. The Mummies, they represent like really raw, really entertaining punk music, what I would consider punk. It's garage punk. And you'll see a farfisa. They'll always have a farfisa, and it's usually up on one end. The guy is like fighting the farfisa on stage. There'll be a couple guitars, like surf style guitars. There's the drummer, and they're in full garb, Mummies. So this other band decided, there's all the groundwork has been done. We'll just step in and call ourselves the Mummies and usurp all this work that had this fan base, create all this confusion. I remember years ago extolling my love for the Mummies on social media, and there was a guy that I used to be friends with, and I came to realize he forced me into doing something for him that I didn't want to do. I had to build him a guitar pedal, and then he went on to pay me like $30 for it. And then he was acting like I gave him another one because he was like, he wasn't happy with it. And then years later, he said when he turned them both on, that was when he got the tone he was looking for. Anyway, the guy turned out, I had gone on my social media extolling the virtues of the Mummies. And he came back and said, oh yeah, I know about that band. They're great. And he put up a link. Now there was some kind of a thing. The original Party at Steve's House Mummies, Planet of the Apes Mummies, we're like, no, we are the Mummies. So these imposters changed their name to Here Come the Mummies. Now, anytime you look up the Mummies on YouTube, you don't get the Mummies. You get Here Come the Mummies. And why do you get that? Well, why is it that I look at like the halftime show? I saw a little bit of that. It was these guys that were all like doing this weird body movements that was like kind of aggressive. It kind of looked like they were either gonna mug you or rape you. Like, I really didn't get what that was all about. The cream does not rise to the top in our society. The shit is what is celebrated in our society. So does it surprise me that there is another band called Here Come the Mummies that have completely, and like people came back and told me like, oh, I know about that band. I saw them on a cruise that I took. They had horns. They were really fun. And I'm like, you didn't see the Mummies on a fucking cruise, pal. Okay? Was it at Steve's house? Because you didn't see the fucking Mummies. So we are going to hop over, as I say, and take a look. The Mummies, San Mateo, California, garage punk, surf punk, 88 to 92, 93, 94, 2008, 2011, 2015 to present. They've been on Estrus, Telstar, Planet Pimp, and Sympathy for the Record Industry labels. They are dubbed budget rock. They have a rebellious attitude and distinctive performance costumes. They've exerted a major influence on garage punk and garage rock revival acts in the later decade as well as in the 90s. The record output was intentionally completed with poor and cheap equipment. The first and only studio album never been caught. And they have positively received reunion concert and tours. There's videos of the Mummies that you can see. This independent filmmaker, Jim Garanto, there's some excellent live videos of the Mummies performing. Formed in late 1988 by Trent Ruane and Maz Katua. These got to be made up names. Larry Winther and Russell Kwan. They were a key musical force in San Francisco's emerging garage scene alongside the Phantom Surfers and the Untamed Youth. They immediately became known for their style of dress, dressing themselves in tattered rags like monster mummies. The homemade choice of attire was influential on the local garage punk scene, with newer groups also dressing in similarly gimmicky clothing. So, their slogan is "Fuck CDs." The Mummies play their own records. Bootlegged album "Fuck the Mummies." Never Been Caught was 1992. Party at Steve's House. And I've got all this stuff. All of this stuff it's excellent. These guys that wrap themselves in gauze, they've got a massive farfisa up on stage, and they are the kings of budget rock. There isn't much more I could say about the Mummies, except for every time I go to look these guys up, this is what I end up seeing. Here come the Mummies. It's a group of 27 guys with giant hats. I saw those guys on a cruise. He was sticking his booty out. Here come the Mummies. The guy wore a top hat and he was dancing. They had a 25-piece band full of conga players, guys with trumpets and horns doing nothing because all of the horns were coming out of a synthesizer. And they do a lot of that. They do a lot of that face. Here come the Mummies. So, one of the things that you'll note is all of the Here Come the Mummies songs are about penis. She Loves Dick, Attack of the Wiener Man. There's another song, Whip It Out. And again, I'm not going to continue clicking on those. And even here, like I type in the Mummies Party at Steve's House, and up here they are. You cannot escape. So I just wanted to let you guys know, like, I really like this band. The music is excellent. It's really fun music. I hate to say lo-fi. That's such an overused term. But when you hear one of these albums, you'll understand what I'm talking about. These guys are the real deal. Oh, this video is absolutely phenomenal. The Loft Party in 1991. The Here Come the Mummies. That's a different band. It's the Mummies, not to be confused with Kill It With Fire. Here Come the Mummies, a group of diseased, filth-ridden communists that are constantly masturbating all over themselves, limbs and reproductive fluids flailing, lots of pus and bile in between the feces and vomit is how you will detect an appearance or the fact that these mummies may indeed be coming. Here is how to tell them apart. When the Mummies play, you will see a farfisa. You'll see some drums and 2 guitars. Here Come the Mummies will be on fire, as there is many of them that must be immediately burnt to a crisp. Will be a lot of pork pie hats, any types of accessory clothing that you would find at a novelty or adult store where they sell dildos and rubber penises, hipster sunglasses, many yards of untrimmed facial hair, pork pie hats, unnecessary accessories, all of which have been heavily soiled with cum and layers of hardened feces, horns, many trumpets, trombones, and saxophones. Saxophones of all sorts, tiny little saxophones and then massive saxophones where they can bend over and stick their rumps out for laughs. Just acres upon miles of brass. And irregardless of that mess, this group, they must be cleansed with the flames of all that is holy, or even an unholy flame will do for this, in fact, noxious, full of rot, vile, vomitous, fungi-ridden, disease-carrying group of wannabes who named their act something almost identical and similar to an actual band in an effort to cause great confusion amongst riot festers and other junior or children's grade entertainment festivals or venues or proprietors and customers of this grade of entertainment. These so-called mummies that have been denoted as supposedly coming with a U must be burnt to a blackened crisp. And any suspected contact or inkling of their presence, no excuses. You must immediately bust out the flamethrower and let the immolation begin. All of everything must be immediately burnt to a crisp. In the presence of Here Come the Mummies is even suspected to be in the vicinity. You must pull the plug, immediately cease all activities, and burn it all. This is for the benefit of mankind. So yeah, my vote is for the Mummies. I shouldn't be forced to denote which mummies I'm on about. This attempt to lure in ignorant folk this bait and switch act of the here come the mummies, coming all over themselves, constantly masturbating with all their filthy anthems about rape and sex with underage minors, allegedly. Immediately must do the right thing with extreme prejudice. Great flames, as in the book of Revelation, will be the quickening with which this abomination shall be so quickly dispensed of, no one would ever know or suspect any existence of this group of horn-ridden, cum-flinging fecal mummies that spread chancres and disease among all that is good under a veil, a thick disguise, under the guise of a deception, trying to coattail ride off an actually talented group of the undead, of the mummies, the really excellent punk garage band, budget rock group known simply as the Mummies, never to be confused with Here Come, or any cum related, anything that's adorned with brass or Hawaiian lace or involving a cruise. Let there be no confusion and immediate quick dispersion. You know what to do when you see any of the recordings or videos. If this pops up on your computer, you immediately must disconnect the computer and purge it with flame. This is the only answer, the only way that we can rid ourselves of this scourge upon humanity that is here come. You get it? They can't stop masturbating. The Mummies. On the other hand, if you like good music, well, you know where to go. There's going to be a party at Steve's, and that will be the Mummies. See, there's no confusion. There's no question about which band. Are they wearing giant comical oversized hats? Are the songs about raping farm animals and making love to donkeys and are they playing horns, or is there a farfisa? So there's no doubt in my mind, and my love for this band runs deep, as well as my understanding of what it says in the book of Revelation, what needs to be done, the right thing. If you run across anything related, like a CD or a video, if by chance I'm going to have to go and burn all of my computers, my monitor, my camera, everything is going to have to go into the fire pit after this. So I'll be out there doing what needs to be done for the greater good of humanity. How about this? There go the Mummies. They're gone. We no longer have to concern ourselves. Let there be no more confusion. You don't have to concern yourself of like, wow, I really want to say something about this band. I just found out about the Mummies, how great this band is. Really a lot of fun. Really entertaining music. It's got a real raw, like, spirit of real rock and roll to it. Like, that's what I get when I listen to the Mummies. There's this spirit of rock and roll that lives in that music. And then when you consider like a conga line, like a bunch of guys that have rented their costumes, and there's a bunch of Mardi Gras beads, and they're all trying to get with your mom or your grandma. I try to do some really unnatural deeds. Like they'll be, body parts are exposed and they're touching themselves in front of grandmothers or small children, this type of behavior, it's not for me. That's not the spirit of rock and roll. That's a lewd and lascivious spirit that needs to be cast out, burst with fire. Anyway, I was completely kidding about all that stuff in this video. I don't mean any ill will to anybody, especially musicians. Those guys in that band, that was their own choice to name their band. I mean, how could they not have known? How could you not have known? When did those guys come around? Because it wasn't 1990. Here Come the Mummies with the C-U-M. That's way later. So they knew. They knew exactly what they were doing. And again, they couldn't control themselves. They couldn't stop masturbating and thinking of, how many people they could trick. So when it comes to naming your band, David Bowie says, what you need, you have to borrow. And he's talking about stealing influences for writing music is what he's talking about. But there's a line that you don't cross, or you'll end up in the subject of a video like this. So of course I was kidding. I would never advocate for harm for any human being or CD or cassette or computer. Never advocate for anything like that. I merely goofing around. But at the same time, something can be said about the dirty trick that was pulled in stealing someone else's sweat off their back and then saying, oh, where we're called, here come the Mummies. Are you really? Because nobody is calling you that. Everyone is going to say, we saw the Mummies on the stupid, what do they call that? Fun in the Sun cruise or some name.
Oh, I don't know.
And usually those things, the guy, the captain, will be like liquored up, and he'll go a little too close and hit some kind of a reef, and it'll knock the whole boat sideways, and then you're stuck. Speaking of feces, all the boat just fills up with poop, and they can't get you off of it, and pretty soon everyone has got fecal oral spread, and they're all vomiting, and it's just an orgy of bile, pus, and feces. Perfect environment for a band that I know, not the Farfisa band. They can lube up their trombones with the free fecal oil. The Mummies, not to be confused with that other band. And we're not going to talk about that anymore. I got it out of my system. I was kidding. Anyway, you guys, I always like to end these things by saying, try to stay warm. It's cold out there. But more importantly, hug your pets. So, peace.